Across the heart of Europe, a quiet shift is shaking the foundations of freedom and movement. In 2025, 10 nations are drawing lines, tightening borders, and sending thousands back. But why now? And what secrets lie behind these sudden reversals? From hidden policies to untold human stories, this isn't just about immigration, it's about power, identity, and a continent at a crossroads. The truth might just change how you see Europe forever. What's causing entire regions of Europe, once bustling with life, to see a steady exodus as immigrants are forced to leave? From historic cities to rural landscapes, governments are cracking down, sending thousands back to their home countries. But why? Is it political pressure, economic strain, or something far more controversial? In this video, we're uncovering the top 10 European countries sending back immigrants in 2025, with shocking numbers, strict policies, and unexpected names on the list. Stay tuned, because some of these deportation trends are sparking international outrage, and you won't believe which country is leading the charge. Can you guess number 10? This small Balkan nation, known for its breathtaking landscapes and rich history, has turned into a fortress against migrants, using harsh border controls and controversial pushback tactics. In 2024 alone, Bulgaria pushed back over 52,000 people attempting to cross into the country from Turkey. These aren't just voluntary departures. Reports claim that many migrants face brutal treatment, forced removals, and immediate expulsions without due process. International watchdogs have sounded the alarm, accusing Bulgarian authorities of human rights violations. But the government insists it is merely The conditions for migrants in Bulgaria are far from welcoming. Refugee camps are overcrowded, legal pathways to residency are nearly impossible, and many face hostility from both officials and locals. With rising political pressure from within the EU, Bulgaria has doubled down on its tough immigration stance, sending a clear message: entry denied. What makes this even more shocking? Bulgaria is one of the poorest nations in the European Union, and many of its own citizens are leaving in droves for better opportunities abroad. Yet the government remains firm on its deportation policies, prioritizing removals over integration. Where does this leave migrants who hope to find safety and a future in Bulgaria? For many, it's a cruel cycle: denied entry, forced to flee, and then sent back with nowhere else to go. But Bulgaria isn't the only country taking extreme measures. Up next, France has been ramping up deportations in ways that will shock you. Before we wrap up, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Number 9, France. Can you guess which European country issued over 30,000 removal orders in just 3 months? France, a nation known for its cultural diversity and historic landmarks, has become one of the most ruthless enforcers of immigration laws in 2024. If you thought France was welcoming, think again, because thousands are being forced out, and the numbers keep climbing. Between July and September 2024 alone, France issued 30,800 deportation orders, with 4,240 people forcibly removed. The government claims this is part of an effort to tackle illegal migration and security threats, but critics argue it's a political move aimed at appeasing growing nationalist sentiments. The methods? Dawn raids, mass detentions, and flights packed with deportees. Immigration officers have been cracking down harder than ever, targeting those without legal status, and even some with pending asylum applications. Paris, Marseille, Lyon, no city is exempt. And if you think this only affects undocumented individuals, think again. Even those who have lived in France for years, working and paying taxes, are finding themselves at risk. Stricter residency laws mean that any minor infraction can put someone on a fast track to deportation. Human rights organizations are raising concerns, but the government shows no signs of slowing down. France's hard stance on immigration is shaking communities, leaving thousands uncertain about their future. Will this trend continue in 2025? But France isn't the only country making headlines for deportations. Germany has been quietly increasing its removal rates, and the scale of what's happening there is even more shocking. Number 8, Germany. Ever thought Germany was a safe haven for immigrants? Guess what? It's now one of the toughest countries in Europe when it comes to deportations. In just 3 months, over 13,600 people were ordered to leave, and thousands were forcibly removed. What's behind this sudden shift? The answer might shock you. For years, Germany was seen as the land of opportunity, welcoming refugees and skilled workers alike. But in 2024, that image started to crumble. the government ramped up deportations targeting failed asylum seekers, undocumented workers, and even long-term residents with minor legal issues. From Berlin to Munich, crackdowns have become the norm, leaving thousands in limbo. One of the most controversial aspects of Germany's deportation wave is its use of charter flights. Entire planes filled with deportees, sent back to countries they haven't seen in years. Some were given just a few days' notice, while others were taken straight from their workplaces or homes, leaving behind jobs, families, and dreams. And it's not just happening at the federal level. Regional governments are competing to show who can deport the most, as immigration becomes a major political battleground. Cities that once prided themselves on diversity are now seeing mass removals, sparking protests, and legal battles. Germany's new hardline policies have sent shockwaves through immigrant communities. The message is clear: stay legally or don't stay at all. But Germany isn't alone in this trend. Spain has been following the same path, and their numbers are just as alarming. Think Spain is a laid-back, welcoming country? Think again. In just 3 months, Spain issued over 13,600 removal orders and deported more than 3,100 people. And if you think that's bad, the situation is only getting worse. Once seen as a refuge for immigrants from Latin America and North Africa, Spain has drastically changed its approach. The government, under pressure from rising anti-immigration sentiment, has ramped up border security, mass deportations, and immigration raids in major cities like Madrid and Barcelona. Even long-term residents are feeling the heat, with some facing deportation for minor infractions. And here's the most shocking part. Spain has also been accused of pushing back migrants at sea, forcing them back to North Africa without any legal process. Human rights organizations have called it a violation of international law, but the government remains firm. Illegal crossings will not be tolerated. For many, Spain was supposed to be a new beginning, a place of opportunity and safety. Now it's becoming a country where immigrants live in fear, never knowing if today will be the day they're sent back. Families are being separated, businesses are losing workers, and entire communities are being reshaped over. And if you think Spain's actions are extreme, wait until you hear what's happening in Greece. Deportations there have taken on a whole new level of controversy, and the numbers will blow your mind. Before moving to the next part, we'd appreciate a like, share, and subscribe. Your support helps us bring you the most accurate and up-to-date information, and we strive to make our content better with every video. Stay tuned, what's coming next will leave you speechless. Number 6, Greece. Guess which European country is making headlines for some of the most aggressive deportations in recent history? Greece. Once considered the gateway to Europe for migrants, it has now become one of the most hostile environments for those seeking refuge. Over 17,000 people have been sent back in the past year, and the methods being used will shock you. For years, Greece struggled with a massive influx of migrants, especially from war-torn countries in the Middle East and Africa. But in 2024, the government took a drastic turn. Mass deportations, border violence, and even secret repatriation operations became the norm. Entire migrant camps were cleared overnight, with buses arriving to take people straight to deportation centers. One of the most controversial tactics? Reports suggest that Greek authorities have been abandoning migrants at sea, placing them on rafts and forcing them to drift back to Turkish waters. Human rights groups have condemned these actions, calling them inhumane and illegal. But the Greek government defends its actions as necessary for national security. Inside the country, the crackdown is just as severe. Immigration police conduct raids in Athens, Thessaloniki, and Crete, searching for those without proper documentation. Some who have lived in Greece for years are suddenly finding themselves on deportation lists with no warning and no way to appeal. Greece's message is clear. Migrants are no longer welcome, but the story doesn't end here. Number 5, Poland. Think Poland was just a transit country for migrants? Not anymore. Poland has been carrying out some of the most shocking deportations in Europe, and the numbers are staggering. In 2024, Poland deported over 35,000 people, making it one of the most aggressive enforcers of immigration laws in Europe. And the way they're doing it is downright chilling. For years, Poland was a key route for refugees heading to Western Europe. But after the government tightened border controls and sped up deportation processes, staying in the country became nearly impossible for many migrants. The government introduced fast-track deportation policies, where decisions are made in hours, not weeks, leaving no time for appeals or legal defense. And here's the most shocking part: entire families are being removed in the middle of the night. Immigration authorities have been known to storm apartments, detain individuals, and put them on planes the same day. Children have been separated from parents, and some deportees are being sent back to war zones despite international laws against such actions. But Poland isn't just deporting illegal immigrants, it's cracking down on legal residents too. New policies have made it harder for migrants to renew work permits, and even those who have lived in Poland for years are being forced out over minor paperwork issues. The government has made one thing clear: if you're not Polish, you're not staying. And if you think Poland's actions are extreme, wait until you hear what's happening in Hungary. The deportation measures being implemented there are even more ruthless, and the next part of this video will reveal details that will blow your mind. Number 4, Hungary. Think Hungary was tough on immigration before? It just got a whole lot worse. In 2025, the country has taken its harshest stance yet, deporting thousands of people in a matter of months. And the way they're doing it will shock you. Hungary has never been welcoming to migrants, but recent policies have turned it into one of the most hostile environments in Europe. Authorities have ramped up border patrols, mass deportations and detentions, targeting not just illegal immigrants but also long-term residents who fail to meet new, stricter requirements. One of the most controversial tactics, the pushback law, which allows border officers to expel migrants without any legal process. Thousands have been rounded up and escorted out, with some reports even suggesting that people were abandoned in remote areas along the border. Even those with asylum status are being re-evaluated, with many losing their protection overnight. Inside Hungary, the situation is just as harsh. Immigration raids in Budapest and other cities have led to mass arrests, with many detainees placed in detention centers before being deported. Even businesses that employ undocumented workers are being shut down, leaving entire communities in fear. The Hungarian government justifies these actions as necessary for national security, but critics argue that it's a violation of human rights. The message is clear: if you're not Hungarian, you're not welcome. And just when you think it couldn't get worse, Latvia is following the same path, only with even more surprising tactics. Number 3, Latvia. Which European country is secretly carrying out one of the largest deportation operations? Latvia. It might not make the headlines, but in 2025, thousands of immigrants are quietly being forced out, and the way it's happening is unbelievable. Unlike other countries that openly enforce deportations, Latvia has taken a more discreet approach. Instead of large-scale raids, authorities are using policy loopholes and bureaucratic traps to force people out. Work permits are suddenly denied, residency applications are rejected, and entire families are being told they must leave without any warning. The biggest shock? Many of those being expelled aren't illegal immigrants at all. Even long-term foreign residents, some who have lived in Latvia for over a decade, are being denied renewals for minor paperwork issues. And because the process is slow and silent, many don't even realize they're being pushed out until it's too late. The Latvian government has also expanded deportation programs targeting non-EU workers, students, and even refugees. Entire migrant communities are shrinking, and the fear of deportation has made life almost unbearable for thousands. Croatia. The next part of this video will reveal how Croatia is handling immigration. And trust us, it's even more extreme than you think. Think Croatia is just a beautiful tourist destination? Think again. While millions visit its stunning coastlines every year, there's a darker reality unfolding behind the scenes. In 2025, Croatia has taken drastic measures to remove immigrants, and the way it's happening is absolutely brutal. For years, Croatia was a key entry point for migrants traveling through the Balkan route, hoping to reach Western Europe. But now, instead of allowing passage, the government has stepped up deportations at an alarming rate. Reports indicate that thousands of people have been expelled in just the last few months, often under conditions that are inhumane and dangerous. One of the most shocking tactics, migrants caught without legal status are being placed on one-way buses and dropped off at the Bosnian and Serbian borders, sometimes in the middle of the night with no food, no shelter, and no way to survive. Humanitarian organizations have called it a violation of international law, but Croatia insists it is simply protecting its borders, and the crackdown isn't just happening in border areas. Inside the country, immigration raids in major cities like Zagreb and Split have become routine. Businesses that employ undocumented workers are being shut down, entire families are being torn apart, and those who have lived in Croatia for years, even legally, are suddenly finding themselves on deportation lists. Many migrants report that Croatian authorities have used violence and intimidation to force them out. There are stories of people being beaten, robbed, and even abandoned in the wilderness with no way to get back. Despite international criticism, Croatia remains unapologetic, making it clear that immigrants are no longer welcome. But if you think Croatia's deportation policies are shocking, wait until you hear about Denmark. Denmark. If you thought strict immigration laws were only for southern and eastern European countries, Denmark is here to prove you wrong. This Scandinavian nation, often seen as one of the most progressive and welcoming in Europe, has completely flipped the script. In 2025, Denmark has ramped up deportations like never before, and the way it's being done is absolutely unbelievable. For years, Denmark had an image of tolerance and social equality. But behind closed doors, its government has been working on policies that make life unbearable for migrants. The result? Thousands of people, many who have lived in Denmark for years, are now being forced to leave. The government is revoking residency permits at record speed. These places located in remote areas are designed to make life so unbearable that people choose to leave voluntarily. But it's not just refugees being deported. Denmark has also made it harder than ever for foreign workers and students to stay. If their new proposals pass, even more people will be at risk of deportation. So, what does this all mean for the future of immigration in Europe? Are more countries going to follow Denmark's extreme policies? The trends are concerning, and the next few years could bring even stricter deportation laws across the continent. Thanks for traveling with us. Wherever you are in the world, remember, home isn't just a place, it's a perspective. We'll see you in the next story, only on Beyond Borders. Hit subscribe, share the story, and stay curious.